Good morning. We are holding today an Hilchos Eidus. We're going to discuss the Halacha and Perek, Halacha Ches, and Halacha Tes. Now, I want to just give a brief introduction, and with that, we'll be able to understand what's going on over here. Eidim Zommim means two Eidim come and say, so and so did such and such act, or is, and therefore he is liable for some punishment. And with that, Bezin goes through the process, the court decides he is liable, and they convict him. Before they carry out this punishment, say they said he killed somebody, so therefore he would have to be killed. Before they kill him, two other witnesses come and say, you couldn't have seen this happen because you were with us somewhere else. It's the only case where you were with us somewhere else, and therefore you couldn't have seen it. They're not saying it didn't happen. It's not their business. They're saying you couldn't see it. Okay, Halacha is Besin Paskins based on that. They're Eidim Zommim. And the Torah tells us a very unique concept, that they get the punishment of the ones of whatever they wanted to give the other guy. That's the Halacha by murder. When it comes to Malchus, you also get Malchus, but there the Rambam says even they gave Malchus. And Mammon also. We'll discuss why and when, but that's later. Zok the Rambam. However, as the Gemara in the Masechtas Makos, the Beis Amud Aleph and Beis Amud Beis tells us there are unique cases that are different. That's a general rule. However, if they testify against somebody, and this is the way the Rambam passages the law, they Eidim she'idu alecha v'shiu rasha, Eidim rasha, same boy, loy malchus, loy misa, loy chiyuva, and then it became Zommim. Arei elu loikin, they get malchus, ava bishalei zomu lahalkas. Even though that wasn't in their plan, they should get Malchus. Their plan was other things, as we'll see. Not even the L'chayim moment. Doesn't matter. Okay, so they get Malchus. What's the case? One, they testified that a claim is a cholol, and it can't do avoid in the Mikdash. You can't. It's considered desecrated. And what's the cases? And I only there's two cases, as the Mishnah does. But the Mishnah, they testify that the mother was divorced before she got married, and that makes him a chol if he's born afterwards. If he's born from the second marriage, or she was a chalutza. And a lot of problems with this. And they say that when it happened, that he was divorced and when she became a chalutz, when she had the chalutza. And in other words, we have to have a place. And then they get Malchus. Now, another couple of cases. They said that he killed Meshagig, and he has to go to Golus. Another case, Kaifer, his ox scored another act. Go to a person, killed him. They don't pay Kaifer, get Malchus. These are, we learn it out, and then in Halacha Tes he goes right. Now here's very interesting. Again, brings the story. They gave a place, and he shows how they learn it out. Even though they didn't intend to give him Malchus, they get Malchus. Then the Rambam ends up. What does it do? Okay, so I want to mention a few issues with what the Rambam says, then see how we can explain them, and then discuss some other issues that that are asked. When he started off, we mentioned, he says, "Where does Mama come? Mama won't get you Malchus anyway. Why does he throw Mama?" Then he talks about a Ben Gerusha. They said that his mother got divorced, or their mother got chalitza. Halacha is a chalitza is only the Rabbanon, and the Yishayim ask, where does this come into the Mishnah? But the Raisa, he's a good kain. It's only the Rabbanon. So most Yishayim say that this is just, the Mishnah just brought it in as an expression, because the Mishnah very often writes that expression. Ben Gerusha and chalitza goes together. But you can't say that in the Rambam. The Rambam is say for halachas. If he writes chalitza, and he gives a like oy nechlitza b'makom 20, he gives an example. Right. And then he gives the 4 cases. We said case number 1, Ben Gerusha, Ben Chalutza. Case number 2, Golus, here Kid B'Sheger. Case number 3, Kaifer. Case number 4, which we skipped, is they said that the guy needs to be sold as an Eved Ivri. The Idu Olav Shenimkar be'Eved Ivri, who's like, that probably means that he's supposed to be sold an Eved Ivri, but as the Gemara told us a story, but it's an interesting expression. Okay, then what does this at the end? And of course, like they spoke about that earlier in the Perek. What's it doing here? Now, the sugya isn't makis, as we said. The Gemara says all these cases, and according to the way it is understood, is that there is Eidim Zommim by definition means those who get what they plan to get, and then there's a group that don't get kasha zama, but they get malchus instead. Now, the lashon of the Mishnah is Kates of the Eidim Nasan. And the Gemara explains, Kates of the Eidim. The Gemara asks the question, it's not David, they're not becoming Zayim. The Gemara says, no, we're talking about the Eidim that don't become Zayim. What do they do? It's a continuation of Masechta Sanhedrin. It's not our discussion here. I just want to bring that out. That's where the idea comes that it's not Zayim. To the point that Tosis and Abezim and Alav es a mighty Gasha. We have a rule in Eidim, they have to be Eidus after Yochel Azim. Every Eidus, in order to be a good Eidus, has to be able to become Zayman. So yes, these are not becoming Zayman. But why is it good in all these 4 cases? So it's because when they get Malchus, it's also Kasha Zayman. How? Well, there's a lot of discussion on that. We mentioned already the question of Ben Chalutza, and according to most, it's just an expression. The Siach Yitzchok asks a question. You have a rule that Ein Eidim Nas Zayim Achi Yigmar Din. There's got to be that type of Yigmar Din, but not before the actual event happens. So that's good in a lot of the things it can be. But how does it happen by Ben Gerusha and Chalutza? As soon as Bezin Paschal, they become a Ben Gerusha. Then Bezin Paschal, they become a Chalutza. Well, where is the space between the Gemara Din and what happens? So the general answer is that there is no Kasha Zommim here. And therefore it's not north. I feel that the Rambam doesn't hold like that, based on his lashon. And the Rambam sets up the law in a strange way. And our general rule, why does the Gemara doesn't give it general? Why did he make a general? There is no such general. It's individual cases, which we learn out. And each of them is a special Yalfusa. No, the Rambam doesn't learn like that. Now these four things teach us a general rule, and this is the general rule. There is only three types of punishments that Eidim Zommim get for Kasha Zama. And that is Malkus, Misa, Mammon. That's all you can get. You can't get anything else. Now, if you're not in the league of any of that, you get Malkus. That's the definition of Eidim Zommim. That's the Lashon. Eidim Zommim. If he doesn't have Loy Malkus, Loy Misa, Loy Mammon, and he came Zommim, like him. Even though he didn't have his plan to give him Malkus, then he adds. In other words, the chiyuv of Eidim Zommim comes from either Malkus or Mammon. I mean, you could have said Misa also, but then he's talking about a case, obviously, it's not killing or no Misa involved. And in these cases, even if maybe this is a Mammon that you don't pay, doesn't matter. You don't need any of that. You don't need other Mechayim. You don't need Malkus and Mammon to give Malkus. In other words, Eidim Zommim is one of the three punishments. And we have a few that wouldn't get that punishment. They still get that punishment. They're still under the heading of Eidim Zommim because they get one of those three. And that's the Chiddush of Eidim Zommim. So from the Daled Devarim, we learn these four things. We learn a new cloud. That Eidim Zommim only has three. And if there's anything outside of three, you still get one of those three, which is Malkus. That's why at the end of Halacha Tes, he goes back and says, but then they get it for Kasha Zommim. In other words, you don't need this new Chiddush. It's all one. It's all same thing. You either get it Malkus for V'tzdikos Atzadik, or you get Malkus for Kasha Zommim, but it's all under the Eidim Zommim heading. It's the same thing. That's why it's Aval. Don't think you're going to get two. There's no two. It's all the same. It's not because you don't get two times Malkus. That learns it's the same thing. You either get it from the Kasha Zommim standpoint, you get it from the Rishiyos Harashim, but it's the same exact idea. This is Kasha Zommim. Okay. In other words, not like Rashi says that no. They are Kasha Zommim from a different point of view, from a different angle, because Kasha Zommim requires one of three chiyuvim. We give them that chiyuv from a different point. They still get that same chiyuv. Now, the shiu is in place of Kasha Zommim. It takes the place of Kasha Zommim. If that's the case, it's still only three Malkus, Misa, and Mammon. That's it. Yeah. So now, there's no question that Eidim could be that's what they mean. That was Malkus is the part of the Hazama. Hazama requires one of three punishments, and this is one of the three. Ben Chalutz is the same thing. Doesn't matter what you're testifying about. You testify about something, it can't have another Eidush. This is it. This is Kasha Zommim. That's what Kasha Zommim requires. One of these three punishments. Now, let's take a look at the Siach Yitzchak's question. The Rambam paskins, if somebody gets killed, we don't kill the Eidim Zommim. This is Perek Halacha base. But if he gets Malkus, then you do get Malkus, even though you gave Malkus away. And the same thing with Mammon. So Mammon, the answer is because after Bechazar, you just give back and finish. It's not kasher also. It's never kasher also, because you can always take back, but you can't take back Malkus. So what's the difference between Malkus and this? So there's a word from the Brisker of that he says that if Malkus wasn't Malkus, Minadin, he wasn't supposed to get Malkus, then all you did is what hit him. It's not Malkus. So stop getting given clip, he says. You hit the guy. Okay. You're not allowed to hit people for sure. But it's not Malchus. They're not Din Malchus. Kol Shekain, Ben Grushim and Chalutz. If he's not, he's not. There's no Ma'adin. There's like a Ma'adin, but there's no Kasharasa. Nothing happened to him. You called him by bad name. Okay. Sticks and stones, names won't harm. It's a name. I no din. I'll go upon it. That's just a side point to answer that question. But the idea behind it all is that we didn't talk to them from Kasha Zaman. The Kasha Zaman can only apply to 3 punishments. Now there's 2 ways of getting those punishments. Either by testifying on something that they did against the Malchus, or anything else will have to fall under those 3 punishments. That's the way that I'm understand it. Everyone, seid gesund und stark. Rambam,